I know I've done a fair few Halo videos recently, and that's because I've been enjoying Halo 5 a fair bit. But I've sort of lost a bit of that enjoyment over the last little bit. Maybe it's because I've been playing it a lot, maybe it's because the game, isn't what I want it to be, I'm not quite sure. Either way, I'm just not having so much fun with Halo 5 at the moment. So I've been looking around trying to find a couple of other things to play. And I figured, over the last little bit, the last couple of years or so, I've played pretty much nothing but MOBAs and shooters. I had a big spurt on League of Legends a couple of years ago, I had a big spurt on Counter-Strike not too long ago, Halo, Overwatch, all that sort of thing. And I figured, well, I just want to play a game to chill out with. And a childhood favourite of mine, the Tasmanian Tiger, I originally got it for my original Xbox when I got that for Christmas years and years and years ago. And I recently found out that it had been re-released on Steam, which was awesome because it meant that I could play the game in 1080p 60 FPS. And they'd also added some improved texture resolution and some improved graphical features such as water reflections and things like that. And replaying that, I played it through 100%. Because I never 100%ed it as a child, and I figured, well, now that I've got a lot more gaming experience under my belt, I'd give it a go. And it's taught me that the 3D platformer, in this day and age, doesn't really exist a great deal outside of Nintendo. We've had some good Kickstarter success with Yooka-Laylee and things like that, and that follows a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie side of 3D platforming. But we haven't seen that many console platformers around that much. I mean, some could argue that things like, what's it called? Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One was a 3D platformer. I'd sort of disagree and say that it was more a 3D action game, but it does liken a lot to the Tasmanian Tiger in that it's a 3D platformer-esque game with a small element of combat. Which I don't have a problem with combat. Combat's great, it adds a lot of depth to game and it can add a lot of awesome emergent mechanics. But it would be nice to see a few more sort of collectathon 3D platformers out in the market. I mean, if playing Ty has taught me anything, it's that I can sink a goddamn lot of time into these games where all I have to do is go around and collect things, solve puzzles to get items and things like that. And it's brought back a lot of fun in gaming for me over the last little bit. I haven't had so much fun playing a video game in quite a while. Halo was fun, but it was a grind. And it was a necessary grind to get rec packs. And I feel like it lacks some of the core fun that made, well, to me, the Tasmanian Tiger as fun as it was. Now, this may seem like a massive shill for Krome Studios and the Tasmanian Tiger, and I've got to say I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but, my god, it's like living my childhood again. It was, well, the first game bar Jet Set Radio Future, which came with the original Xbox, that I got for my original Xbox. And it's one of those games where I was a child, this was 2002, or 14 years ago, I must have been sort of 6, 7, 8 years old. And it was I'd say an easy game. I look at it now and think, oh, that game was pretty easy. But it was fun. It had an interesting character set, interesting plot, something that I hadn't seen before in gaming, albeit it was sort of very early in my gaming life. And looking back, it's still got a unique plot today. It's got a lot more creative freedom than I see with a lot of games nowadays. And I think that the games industry is lacking a lot of creative freedom. Anyone with keen ears may have heard some of the the Tasmanian Tiger soundtrack in some of my previous videos. And this was before I'd started looking into playing it again. It was SGDQ and Kythol's run. As much as a lot of people had their problems with the run made me go out and play the Tasmanian Tiger again. And in turn, I've dug out my original Xbox, soft-modded it, because the disk drive on it is absolutely destroyed, and I've gone ahead and installed the Tasmanian Tiger 2 and the Tasmanian Tiger 3. the Tasmanian Tiger 2 I've played before. I've never finished it, but I've played it before. And the Tasmanian Tiger 3 I've never played before. Now, I was interested in the fourth one on PC as well, but that's a 2D platformer akin to Rayman Legends, and 2D side-scrollers are not really my cup of tea, unfortunately. I find that 3D platformers have a lot more, as hilarious as this is going to sound, depth in terms of mechanics and just gameplay, whereas a 2D platformer, it's left and right. With a 3D platformer, you have a world to explore. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of first-person shooters and modern military games lack. They focus on sort of the scripted events that, you know, the developers want you to see, and less about what you can find by just traversing the world and exploring. And that's something I'd like to see games go back to. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been Classy Ham. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, and remember, stay classy.